Welcome to Muncie, Indiana, home of the Ball State Cardinals, and we're looking forward to this matchup, and certainly the fans are... Broncos will get us underway with the opening kickoff. And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. So the Ball State Cardinals offense will get the first possession of the game. And here comes the big fella, a staple of this aerial attack, Jesse.
And he's a guy they can line up all over the field, David. There's matchups out there waiting to be taken advantage of.
Yeah, and it's nowhere to go, and the ball is loose. The D scoops it up, and everybody reverses field. There is little that warms the heart of a defender like a strip sack, even better if you get the ball.
And I like the awareness of this defender on the play because he knew he might not actually get to the quarterback and make the hit, but he was able to still swat away, use those long arms to create the turnover.
Couldn't order better field position for this offense. They'll go to the ground. He bullies his way all the way down to the 5-yard line. It'll be second down, and remember, they can pick up a first without scoring. They'll keep it on the ground. He works his way ever closer all the way down to the 1-yard line. Not a lot of ground to cover and not much to defend. A big third down in the red zone. They'll try to pick it up on the ground. And he takes it to the house. Touchdown, Western Michigan. The offense did exactly what it's supposed to do with a start like that one.
When you're set up with that field position, you're thinking touchdowns. You're not thinking field goals. It's exactly what the offense does. Takes advantage of great field position.
Lining up to tack one more onto that lead. And with the extra point, they get the first 7 of the game. Quick strike offense on that 3-play scoring drive. And they capped it off with a 1-yard plunge. And they thought about a return, then thought better of it. They'll bring it out to the 25. Ball State takes over the football, and the Cardinal offense headed out. As it turns out, the fumble on that last drive set up the touchdown, David.
And there's no bigger stat in football than turnovers. You turn the football over, they turn it into points. Jesse, that is not a recipe for success.
Good news, though, they get another chance, right? They can make amends with this drive right here. That's all that's important. You've got to execute, and you've got...
Oh, look out, there he goes! Oh, and the defense in chase mode, and they finally get him down at the 35. And the Cardinals want to move quickly. From the gun, the running back looking for room. And they try to run inside, and there is nowhere to go. They got nothing on the last play. It's 2nd and 10. They'll try the right side. They bring him down, and he's going to lose a yard on that one. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. They line up, and it is a long way to the sticks from here. On 3rd and long, he has to throw for it. And the incomplete pass will bring up 4th down. They've decided to try to go for the field goal here. This is going to have to be unleashed from 54 yards out. And it's no good. After that miss, still a 7-point game, guys.
Western Michigan, 7. Ball State, 0.
The Western Michigan offense ready to go back to work. Jesse, a very productive drive last time wound up with a touchdown.
Yeah, mixing and matching play calling really well. Nice balance on that last one, Dave. Let's see what they can do here in this next drive.
Yeah, and I don't expect anything different. When you put together a drive like that, I would do more of the same. Keep the pace, keep it going.
Here's the handoff. And And a nice solid pickup there before the defense wrestles him to the ground. Now on third down after that run. Looking for a man. It's Wolf. Unloads to the wideout. Complete downfield. Really nice pickup on that one as they get it to the 36. It'll be first down. On the ground with the counter. And he does a really nice job finding open space and making a good gain before the stop is made. Goes to the option. He'll toss it. He had all kinds of company as soon as he got it. He had to fight his way back just to get to the line of scrimmage. On third and short, trying to impose their will and move the chains. Tackled after picking up the first down. And the Broncos are marching down the field.
First down for the offense.
On the option. And he's ridden to the ground, but there's also a flag down. Let's check the call.
Holding. Offense.
That penalty moves the ball back 10 yards. We'll replay the down. They've put themselves in a hole to start. It's 1st and 20. The option look. They make the stop, but not before he takes a chunk out of what they need to move the sticks. Kept it on the ground on first down. Let's see what they do on second. Now on the option. Nice, solid form tackle from this sophomore. They've got it right on the edge of the red zone, but they face a 3rd and long. Wide receiver shows motion. Safe completion on the screen. They finally get him stopped, but what a good job by that front wall to set up the screen and create some lanes for their running back.
First and goal, Western Michigan.
Off the play fake on first down to throw. Nobody open. He just throws it away, and it'll bring up second down. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. To throw, it's Wolf. They're trying to get to it. And the quarterback is knocked down back at the 13.
In that second down play, the defense, I think, was expecting pass. So you saw them come firing upfield. They use their speed. They use their athleticism. They win the one-on-ones, and they get a big-time sack.
It's still 3rd and goal. He's looking downfield to throw. They're bringing heat. And here comes the pressure, and there he goes down again.
And that's a great job by this defense. You don't care about yards anymore. Yards are arbitrary. Let them drive down the field, so be it. You want to keep touchdowns off the board, and they might have just done that with a sack right there.
It's wise not to be too greedy, and they'll go ahead and send out the field goal unit. The kicker will reach for a 36-yard attempt. He splits the uprights and puts 3 on the board. And that will extend their lead even further.
Western Michigan, 10. Ball State, 0.
After putting up the field goal, they're set to kick it away.
Set to kick this one away.
No chance for a return as that ball flies out of the back of the end zone. Ball State gets it back. The offense headed to the field. You want to talk about taking the wind out of your sails. Drive the ball down the field and miss the field goal, David.
You know what? Don't leave it up to kickers. Execute better offensively. I think you move the ball nice. You got to keep that in mind. But Palmer, I think you got to stay aggressive and don't settle for field goals.
Yeah, because you got to know there's just no margin for error right now. You just have got to be able to execute at a high level.
Great pickup as they'll keep this drive moving, and they've got it at the 45. We've come to the end of the quarter, and Western Michigan is on top. They largely dominated this first quarter as indicated by the stats. just about ready to get things started here in the second. We'll see if they continue to flex that muscle. To the ground. He's got it again. They pick up half of it. It'll be 2nd and 5. Went to the running game on 1st down. Now here they come again. Off play action. Throws for the tight end. Got a wide open receiver. Just like that. A huge gain, and they've got it inside the 10. They'll mark it at the 8.
This guy's done a lot of good things early this year throwing the football. With that last completion, that now takes him over 1,000 yards passing for the year.
And that big gainer on the last one has them threatening from inside the 10. He caught it. Goes out of bounds just short of the goal line, and they'll be set up in a great position here.
It's now 2nd and goal.
Powers forward. And he takes it in for the score. Touchdown, Cardinals.
This running back was not going to be denied. Nice blocking up front to create a hole for this running back, and he was able to take advantage.
He'll try to tack on one more.
For the extra point.
And with the extra point, the lead is cut to 3. It's 10-7. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
Guys, let's get you up to speed on what's going down in this fun college football game today. Ohio State is currently trailing, but if this young star leads a comeback today, he could join former Heisman winners like Eddie George and Archie Griffin in the pantheon of greats in Columbus. It's just a field goal game. They're trailing by 3 to Iowa. Any big developments in this one, we've got you covered with the best studio team in the business. Gentlemen?
Oh, and how about that? I know Kevin and those guys will be keeping an eye on it for us. It's 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line.
And that's a 1st down for the offense.
Power football with the run. And the freshman does a great job using his technique and getting the man on the ground. Picked up 2 yards on that last one. They need 8 on 2nd down. Leaves it with the back. And they try the middle of this stout defense, and they rise to the challenge. They've got a good chunk of ground to cover on 3rd and long from the 41. To the air, it's Wolf. Feeling some heat. And the defense is all over the quarterback, and down he goes.
How about the defense getting home with the pass rush? Playing man coverage in the back end. You need to win up front. Those guys got to get to the quarterback. Do a great job rushing the passer. I can play man when I got a pass rush like that.
The Broncos will try to pin them back with the punt. Getting our first look of the afternoon at the punter. His first one of the day gave that leg a workout 5 times in last week's victory. This is a spot you see many returners try to take a chance, but not this time. The fair catch just inside the 40. They'll leave it with the lone back. And a good solid pickup there before the defense knocks him down. Good spot after that 7-yard pickup on 1st down. It's 2nd and 3. Out of the gun, the give to the back. And they're able to shove him to the turf as they stop him for a short gain. 3rd and short now from their own 48. Trying to pick it up on the ground. Nice job to pick up the 1st down, and they'll spot it at the 42. The Cardinals come to the line with a fresh set of downs. The give to the tailback. And he's almost to that 1st down marker there, saying he's a little bit short. They might want to bring out the sticks and measure, but it looks as if he'll be just short of the 1st down. He's got an open man. And they finally get him stopped, but it's a big throw and catch, and he's down at the 5.
Man, if I'm a defense, I got to find a way to get some more pressure on the quarterback or disrupt their timing and their rhythm. I can't give them these big chunk plays through the air. I got to be maybe a little bit more aggressive or do something a little bit different.
He pushes it forward all the way to the 2-yard line.
Brings up second and goal.
Got it back on 2nd and goal. Into the end zone he goes. Touchdown, Cardinals. Follow the blocker. The offensive line will take you to the hallelujah land.
And I tell you what, most of the time, Reese, it requires a little bit of skill to find that hole and slither through a little crack. That was not a crack. That was wide open. Didn't take a lot of vision because the blocking was outstanding.
Now they'll line up for what they hope is automatic. And the extra point is good, and it's a 4-point lead. That drive covered 62 yards for the touchdown and finished the deal with the short touchdown run from the 2. And no chance at a return here. They'll start this drive at their own 25. Guys, we're about to get another look at this Western Michigan offense. They just didn't quite find the rhythm on that last drive, Jesse. They had to punt it.
I think they got to be more physical, David. I think up front they got to do a better job getting blocks and establishing this running game.
And how easy does football become if you're the more physical team? If you can threaten the run and then run play action, it opens up the whole offense at your disposal.
To the ground with the back. And the defense snows him under after a very short gain. They're at their fastest tempo trying to get off this 3rd down play. Looking to throw, it's Wolf. Getting some heat. And they can't make the connection on 3rd down. And the Broncos will punt it away on 4th down. This will be the 2nd time they've had to kick it away. Trying to play a little field position with that high punt. Fair catch, called for and made. And now this offense will take the field again. Wasting no time throwing on this drive. Just a bit of a misfire there as they can't make the connection. Couldn't get anything done on 1st down. Now 2nd and 10 from the 46. Misfired on the last play. They'll go back to the air. Receiver looks it in. It's complete. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there and still a little ground to cover and pick up the 1st. Fires to the tight end. On the move at the 30. And they are finding some space in this defense. He's got it down to the 25.
Defenses throughout the week study every 3rd down situation. You got to be ready for what they do, how they do it, and then be able to adjust. Great job by the offense so far having success.
The offense down to the 25 now, 1st and 10. He wants to throw. Fires to the big fella. The offense quickly calls timeout to stop the clock.
I'll say this, man. In college football, you see a lot of bad tackling. You didn't see it right there. That was an awesome job. First off, being there at the point of attack. Once the tight end made the catch, there was no doubt he was going down. Great job form tackle.
He found his man and zipped it in there, and they've got a 1st down in the red zone at the 11. The offense wastes no time getting the timeout call. It's 1st down from the 11. He's looking to throw it. He makes a grab. They stop him just a link or two short of the 1st, and man, what they can do on 2nd down here. We've got a timeout in the waning seconds of the half. Maybe a chance to get off a couple more plays. And here on 2nd down, they'll send out the field goal unit to try to get 3 before the break. It is good. So they get the late field goal right before the half and not much time after this kickoff for an answer. And he takes this from inside the 5. Coverage team there to make the stop. They avoid disaster, and that's the end of the 1st half. We've played 2 quarters here. Time to go to Kevin Connors in our halftime update.
Guys, what a scene there in Muncie. What a fine performance we've seen. And it's been said football is a game of inches. And guess what? Based on the comparison between third down conversion rate today and the average yard per play, how can you argue that? I mean, the low-lying fruit is to look at some of the explosive plays we've seen in panic. But really, this game is going to come down to which team is more efficient when they have the ball and how they play when it matters most. And with that, let's head back to the guys at Schumann Stadium.
And the Cardinals will boot it away to start the second half. And they desperately wanted to attempt a return, but decided not to. Instead, they'll take the touchback. First play from scrimmage here in the second half, and they'll keep it on the ground. They bring him down, and he's going to lose a yard on that one. Didn't get much done on that first play of the drive. It's 2nd and 11. The give to the back. Up near the 40-yard line. They'll mark it at the 39 to pick up a 15. They'll snap it from the 39. 1st and 10. Might as well run him until they stop him. He's got it again. One-step wrap, two-step squeeze. This junior knows how to get him on the ground. Fast motion from the offense. Get it out on the screen. Not a whole lot of room there on that screen pass. It just never developed. Let's see what they find in the playbook for 3rd and long from the 43. And wings it incomplete. The Broncos will call on their punt team. Kicks it high, and it's just hanging there as if it has helium in it and floating down toward the earth. Ball State takes over the football, and the Cardinal offense headed out. Always good to get points on a drive, David, but chip shot field goals can leave you a little empty.
And I think it's great to get points, but the great teams get touchdowns in the red area. You got to get out there this time and execute a little better on this drive.
You're absolutely right, David. Generally, the best red zone offenses are the ones that run the ball the best. So let's see if they can be a little bit more physical on this drive.
They make the stop after the catch, and still some work to do to pick up that first down. They'll run for it on 3rd and short. And they'll pick up the first down and mark it at the 47. The Cardinals come to the line with a new set of downs. They're getting this guy lathered up.
That's a really good job by the defense, wrapping him up, getting him on the ground. Take away that run game. Make him one-dimensional, put him in passing situations. Really good job by the defense.
Got his man quickly. They'll stop him at the 41, but he's got 10 yards, and they'll move the chains. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. And the Cardinals are moving quickly down the field. They'll throw it on 1st down. And that pass picked off. Bringing it back. And after the pick, everybody going the other way, and he crossed midfield and got it to the 47.
And this safety is a ball hawk. He's a playmaker. Not only have we seen him get involved in the running game and make tackles playing downfield, but he plays the center field position as well as anybody in college football, and you saw it right there.
Western Michigan has it back as they send the offense onto the field. After a punt on their last possession, they are set up in plus territory this time.
And honestly, it wouldn't have mattered if they scored a touchdown their last possession. You've got to be able to turn the page and see this as a brand new opportunity to go get points.
Yeah, and your defense has set you up for a position to get points right away. Now, let's get this offense back rolling again, create some momentum, just get a few first downs, and I'm in scoring position.
And just wedges it ahead a bit before he's brought down. They'll have to get it to the 37 on 3rd down. To the air, it's Wolf. Quickly complete. A quick tackle made, but he's got plenty for the first down. A new set of downs after the completion. Leaves it with the running back. He's knocked down in the backfield. He'll lose a couple. And now on 2nd down for this offense. They go to the ground. Not a whole lot of progress made there on the short run. If they can convert here, that type of play can really definitely give you a shot of momentum. Trying to move the sticks on third down through the air. Fires to the right. How about that play to get a hand in there and force the incompletion? And the Broncos will send out the punt unit. He's getting a lot of work. Fourth time he's punted tonight. And that ball will sail into the end zone for a touchback. Ball State gets it back. The offense headed to the field. One of the most valuable things a quarterback can have, David, short-term memory. Just forget that last bit.
You're dang right. Clear the mechanism. It's over, move it behind. Some players can't do that real well, and it leads to more mistakes, Jesse. You got to just forget about it and move on.
And I think the coaching staff can help him too, David. I think you can get the running game going here and also give him some easy throws.
Didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9. He'll keep it himself. He's knocked down in the backfield. He'll lose a couple. Now this offense facing a 3rd and long from their own 30. From the gun, wants to pass. Time to take a shot. And that one's incomplete. They weren't just trying to move the chains. They were trying to move the scoreboard. Instead, it's 4th down. A high kick trying to pin them deep. He only needs a sliver of daylight. Tries to find a little more running room on that return, but he'll be stopped at the 36. Western Michigan offense ready to go back to work. They'll give it on the counter. And he'll pick up the first down after a tough run there. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Coming out on first down with the play fake. Just couldn't find an open man. He'll get rid of it, and it'll be 2nd down. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. They'll try the run. Able to pick his way forward for a decent game before the defense gets him down. Ball's at the 47. They're looking at a 3rd down and short. And talk about spreading the ball around. Everyone getting a chance to show off the hands based on the number of targets we've seen. When you're dealing with a deficit like this, it's all about somebody stepping up to make a play, and you might as well start here in the 4th quarter. On the option, he's knocked down in the backfield. He'll lose a couple. The Broncos will punt this one away. They've been busy out there to punt for the 5th time today. Another punt on the way. Got to make sure those hammies and glutes all activated. Don't want any muscle pulls from overuse. He's able to pick his way for just a bit, but he'll be stopped at the 18. Good job by the punt team. They move the tight end all over. From the gun, running back gets to give. Picks his way ahead, pick up a 3, and gets it to the 20-yard line. After the 3-yard pickup, they come to the line, 2nd and 7. They'll give it to the back. Not much there. Picks up a couple to the 22. They'll need to convert this 3rd down from their own 22 to get this drive jump-started. Lofts one high and deep. And this is dropped. Incomplete pass. He had a huge gain in his fingers, and he couldn't hold on. 4th down, and the punt team sends it the other way. He'll settle for some pretty good field position and make the fair catch at around the 35. Guys, we're about to get another look at this Western Michigan offense. They've hit a bit of a lull here, and they need to get things cranked up with this possession, Jesse.
Just haven't had a rhythm these last couple of possessions, but I'll tell you, the best way to get back into one is to run the football. Establish yourselves up front at the line of scrimmage and help keep these 3rd downs manageable.
Yeah, and the best news is your defense at least forced a punt of their own. So now you can go answer with that good stop while this game is still close. Let's just go keep putting more points on the board, and let's see less of the punter.
They'll ride the hot hand.
And the defense doing a great job committing to the run. When you commit to the run like this, obviously you can give up some plays in the passing game, but you got to stop the run first.
And a good, solid pickup before the defense cuts him down. How aggressive might this play call be on 3rd and short from the 46? Back to throw, it's Wolf. And they wanted it all on 3rd down, but now dealing with 4th down. And the Broncos send out the punt unit. They're up to a half dozen kicks today. Signal goes into the air, and he makes the fair catch at the 10. Ball State takes over the football, and the Cardinal offense headed out. They'll have another opportunity to extend this lead after punting last time, David.
And it's important to put that punt behind you. It's over. Let it go. Get back to what you were doing that built this lead.
Yeah, and defense, obviously, they won a few downs that last drive, so you got to put them on their heels here. Maybe mix up a few personnel groupings and try to show them some pictures they haven't seen yet.
He's off to the races. He's at the 10. And he'll haul it in and take it to the end zone. Touchdown, Ball State. They push that lead out. A really good opportunity to get back in the win column.
And when you've got a losing skid, there's nothing like some good old home cooking. They came back home, and they have played an outstanding game. And let's give this crowd a helmet sticker. They've been so loud. You know they've impacted this game, and that's the beauty of college football, helping their team get back in the win column.
They'll try to add another to their lead. And the extra point is true, and they have a 2-touchdown lead, up 14 in the fourth. And for a quick update, let's go to Kevin Connors in the studio.
All right, guys, a little update on what else is happening in college football this weekend. Ohio State is trailing right now, but it's only a couple of points. That quarterback just needs to show the poise of a young Troy Smith, and they're right back in this. It's a touchdown game. They're trailing by 7 to Iowa. We'll circle back. If anything big happens, you should know about it.
And how about that one? Kevin will be keeping an eye on everything going on elsewhere. Forges ahead, picks up about 3 to the 29. To the air, it's Wolf. Fires to the wideout. He got his hands on it, but couldn't hold on to it. What a time that would have been for their first pick of the game. On 3rd and long, trying to have a big completion here. And it's incomplete despite some serious arm strength shown there. Down by multiple possessions, you can't come up empty on this drive. They'll go for it on 4th down. Throws to the wideout. Makes the catch past the sticks. And not much of a 4th down gamble when it's that much of a sure thing. An easy conversion for this offense. Use the play fake, now to throw. Unloads to the wideout. Makes a connection. He'll work his way down to the 28. The Broncos are in the hurry-up.
This is an offense that has skill, and they've got speed, and because of that, this defense, they can't lull themselves to sleep. They've got a big lead here late, but they've now given up back-to-back big plays. They got to put the clamps down.
And they bring him down quickly, but a good gain there. And the Broncos have pushed it inside the 20. Wants to fire on 2nd down. Got it! They'll get him stopped just short of the end zone, but they're in business here with a 1st down. On the doorstep of cashing it in for the offense.
1st and goal, Western Michigan.
They'll go to the air. He just wisely got rid of that one. The worst thing that can happen to you is to turn it over on 1st down in the red zone. They'll run it. And he gets nothing. And this defense is not giving an inch right on the goal line. Looking for the touchdown on 3rd and goal. Can't make the grab as he was going for 6 right there. A field goal really doesn't do much for you in this situation, so they'll go for it on 4th and goal. Trying to pound it in. And he takes it to the house. Touchdown, Western Michigan.
Western Michigan.
In a 4th and goal situation, bring in the beef. The goal line package, all the heavy guys, the tight ends, and just pound the rock when you need it. Running back falling forward, getting a touchdown. Offense just went big on your booty.
Getting set for the point after.
On for the extra point.
And the PAT will draw them 1 point closer. They put together a 74-yard touchdown drive and finished the deal with the short touchdown run from the 2.
Western Michigan, 17.
And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. Ball State gets it back. The offense headed to the field. After standing on the sideline and watching that long touchdown drive, they really need to put something together to give their defense a rest.
And that's a real thing, man. Like, you played a lot of plays, you get worn out, you need a chance to go decompress on the sideline, get some oxygen. Palmer now is on this offense.
Yeah, this is the definition of complementary football because it's a two-pronged problem. You've got to score points and answer, but you've also got to take your time and give your defense an opportunity to get their wind.
Ball's at the 27. This offense facing a 3rd and long. They keep it on the ground. Clock is their friend. They bring him down, and he's going to lose a yard on that one. Quick timeout called by the defense, stopping the clock to save as much time as possible for their offense. The Cardinals will bring the punt team onto the field. Great contact on that ball as it just hangs up in the sky. And there he goes. He will score! Touchdown, Broncos!
Touchdown.
Great job with the score. And listen, right here at this point in the game, there's still going to be time left. My defense is going to have to make a stand regardless. I'm going to kick the extra point because the field goal still beats me if I go for a 2-point conversion.
Lining up for the PAT.
Kicker is on for the extra point.
And that extra point was good, and we are deadlocked here in the 4th. So his big play capability was on full display, and that one as he took that punt back for the touchdown. He thought about bringing that out for a half second, but he'll take a knee and they'll bring it to the 25. Ball State takes over the football, and the Cardinal offense headed out. Buys a little extra time. Going to try to get it himself. On the run, and he'll slide to avoid the hit. A nifty pickup there. Quick tempo, no huddle offense. 2nd down, clock's running. He's looking to throw. Just a short pass to the tight end. They get him at the 42, but he picked up 10 there. Sprinting to the line to try to get this one off. Clock's running. To the air on 1st down. He finds his man. And oh, he was off to the races after the catch, and they finally drag him down. We've got a timeout on the field, and we are set up for a terrific finish. Using the quick game. The defense calls the timeout, and that's their last one of the half. And the Cardinals will have it 1st and 10.
Timeout, Western Michigan.
He's going to pass. He lobs one high down the left side. And it's intercepted. Oh, what a big play in a tie game. And after the interception and the turnover, this defense has set its offense up for business. I think they'll be aggressive here and try to win it in regulation. Wants to throw on 1st down. That's caught. It's Nixon. Didn't pick up a lot there. Moved it forward just a few. Now here on 2nd down, see if they keep tossing it around. Wide receiver coming across in motion. On 2nd down, just keeps firing. Nothing doing downfield. He'll cut his losses and throw it away. It'll be 3rd down. The give to the back. And he's a real nowhere man tackled in this no-gain land. Plays that one perfectly. Exceptional accuracy on the punt. And the punt goes out of bounds. We'll see where the officials spot it, but they certainly gave them no opportunity for a return. right, guys, so here we go in overtime, and just to refresh everyone's memory, alternating possession starting on the opponent's 25.
And you want to play defense first because you want to know what you need. That's a key philosophical approach for most teams when it comes to overtime, David.
Yeah, and remember the rule change a couple years ago, too, and the second overtime and two-point conversion. So all this stuff is situational-type football that you better have worked on throughout these weeks of the season.
First play of the first possession of OT. They think they can impose their will here with the run to the right. And maybe they want to try somewhere else because there is nothing doing in the middle of this defense. They'll leave it with him. And he's able to bounce off one tackle for a solid pickup. The Broncos have moved it inside the 20. Here comes the option. Tackled, but he has a first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs.
That's a first down for the offense.
Gonna run it. It's Buckley. They get him down, but not before he picks up 6 to the 7-yard line. Going to work on second down in the red zone. Is still some ground to cover to pick up that first down. He steps and powers and works his way. They finally get him down at the 2. Here comes first and goal as they try to strike here in overtime. Slams ahead. Touchdown Broncos. They take the lead here in overtime.
This guy just has a nose for the end zone, and you love his ability to find creases, use his speed in the open field, and go score. He's been really good for his offense early this year. That already his 5th rushing touchdown on the season.
Now to push the lead to 7 in overtime. And the extra point is true, and they're on top by 7. They know what's in front of them. They have to answer that score with a touchdown. Going up top on first down. And good coverage and better hands by the defender to knock it down in the end zone. The incomplete pass leaves them with second down. He's looking to throw. Fires to the wideout. Makes the grab. He'll be stopped just short of the end zone, but they'll have it first and goal.
Nice job by the receiver on the in route there. And how about the speed? After he made his break, he was able to actually separate a little bit from the DB, helping out his QB on that one.
With the run on first and goal. Touchdown, Ball State. They got it in the end zone. Now a decision to make with the point after.
First off, really impressed by how physical this guy is still running the ball this late in the game. But now it's decision time. You want to play it safe, kick the extra point, or are you feeling aggressive to go for 2 points?
And I think this is all about how you feel about your defense and how you feel about this game extending. Do I have a chance? Do I have better players? Am I more fatigued? Like, all this has to come into account because you got a chance right now with one play to win this football game.
And the extra point is good. We play on first down here in the second overtime period. Looking to go up top on first down. And he got smacked just as he released the pass. It's incomplete. Couldn't make the connection on first down. Now here on second. Makes his connection. Knocked down immediately, but a nice pickup on that one. Let's see what they do on third down. Now the play fake. Finds his big tight end. They get him down, but this offense is set up first and goal from the 9. This thing has been back and forth now. First and goal as they try to take the lead in overtime number 2. Brought down at the 7 after picking up 3. Defense rose up deep in its own end on that last play. Now a second and long coming. Makes the grab on the left. And tackled there by the defense. A gut check on the doorstep. Third and goal here in overtime. pushes ahead. That just never had a chance as they controlled the middle of the field and stopped him in the backfield on third down. Timeout called by the defense as they want to make sure they avoid any hint of a mental lapse here in overtime. Down by a field goal and a touchdown will win it. Let's see what they got on first down. Running back searching for a hole. Tackle is made after a pickup of 6 down to the 19-yard line. 6-yard pickup on first down leaves them with 2nd and 4. They'll run the option. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. Huge third down here. A field goal will send us to another overtime, but a touchdown would win it. They bring him down, and he's going to lose a yard on that one. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. So on 4th down, here comes the field goal kicker in a huge spot. A huge pressurized kick coming right now as this game hangs in the balance. It's between the uprights and good, and this coach does realize that he's still just lost the game, right? So here we go, dueling two-point conversions from this point forward. On the ground. They got it done with the 2, and now they hold the edge deep in overtime. This will be the ball game. Make it and play on, miss it and lose. He'll set up to throw. They can't convert. A great stop by the defense and a game-winning one here in overtime. I know how to sum up this game succinctly. That was fun, and what a victory to remember.
Fun for them, fun for us, just the back and forth, games that are so nip and tuck, and you know every play matters so much. These are the games that we love to call.
Yeah, every play matters, David, and that's why coaching staffs practice overtime scenarios and situations throughout the week. It's important to drill these types of scenarios. You never know what games are going to go to OT, and when they do, you love to be able to go out and execute with the game on the line.
That's going to do it for us from here. For Jesse Palmer, David Pollack, I'm Reese Davis, and this has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.